Hi there! Welcome to episode 25 of Debra Quilts Lots and Knits Bits. I'm Debra McCracken and I quilt a lot and I knit a little bit. Today is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. I'm coming to you from beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, Canada, where it is definitely spring. It's beautiful sunshiny day and it's jacket weather or sweater weather. Like you want to have something on or with you at least. We went for a walk this morning and on the way home we walked down the lake shore and there was no wind and that was just fantastic. So I come here occasionally and chat about the things that I've finished. Well, because I only finish things occasionally. I also talk to you about the things I'm working on, what's coming up, what things I like, and that kind of stuff. So I'll start out with my knitting. And what am I wearing? This is my Positive Vibrations shawl by Marinja Knit, Marin Melchor. She's the same designer who designed the butterfly, the papillon shawl. So this is actually the same yarn, the same variegated yarn I used for my papillon shawl, but I paired it with a Cascade Heritage sock yarn that I got at the Bee's Knees. I also used that yarn to knit Sarah's Playdate cardigan out of, but the colors just, oh my goodness. I'm so pleased with this. I did the small version because I was running out of the green. And the little edge came out bumpy like it's supposed to. And oh, it was so much fun. And I tell you what, I didn't do exactly what I was supposed to do. I made a few design modifications, also known as mistakes. But it was so forgiving that I really didn't worry about it. And I joined the Facebook group for the shawl, and the designer was so supportive and pleased that I was, discussing how I just kept going. Like I noticed I was knitting away and it's short rows, so you knit back and bit back and forth and bit back and forth, and that's how you get the little blurb of color. Well, I'm knitting away one evening and realized I'm going the wrong way. I should be on the other side. And so I just flipped it around and knit back on that row. And there's no picking involved, no stress, it just worked. Anyway, I bought a new pattern by her and it's called the Amazing Maisie. So it takes a variegated yarn and it makes it look like zigzags, and there's a little bit of lace in between, so I'm excited to get started on that. But before I can start on that, I have to finish this, and this is called the Pretty in Pleats. So it's kind of a tank top, and I don't know if you can see, but oh, that's the back. There you go. There are a couple of pleats in between the markers here that I just knit in, and because this yarn is like kind of a self-striping, self-marling yarn, I knitted, instead of following the pattern and knitting the back and the straps from the back first, I moved on and knit the front first. I don't know, is that gonna work? I hope so. Anyway, this is what I started with. This is called Rainbow Autumn, but I saw a sweater in a movie and these are the colors and I just really liked it. So this became this. So very cool. I bought two balls of it because the sweater I was gonna knit called for 400 meters and these were 200 meters each, but it looks like I'm going to be able to get this one, and I don't know if I'm going to need this at all because I've got quite a bit left. So fingers crossed that it looks okay, you know, once because you do across the top and then you do one strap and then the other strap and then you can pick up the back and do across there. So fingers crossed. Anyway, I went out to the Bee's Knees a few weeks ago and I had a list of sweaters summer tops that I thought would be nice. And and then I came home and I couldn't find my list. So I started the Pretty and Pleats and then I found my list. The Pretty and Pleats was also a free pattern on the Biscott Knits website. So I'll link that to the bottom, link it below in the show notes. The other yarn I bought is this. And it's got all these different colors in it. So it's going to have kind of, hopefully, the same effect as like it's going to have narrower stripes because there's a smaller ball, more colors. It's called Lang Yarns Linello. So it's linen, cotton, and viscose. 40% linen, 30% cotton. Anyway, it's very, very soft, and I thought the color was really pretty. And the sweater that I really wanted to knit out of it on my list has a lot of texture to it, so I don't think that this is going to work for the texture. I think it needs more of a solid color in order to show the texture. So I think I'll end up doing another one of these little tank tops, and or the buttercup sweater that I knit last summer. So we'll see what happens. And also, I don't know if you'd remember, a few episodes back I talked about the Galaxy box that I got, the Galaxy Mystery Box from K-Zip Knit. And this one is Sweet as Can Be, B-E-E, so it was a bee themed spring one. So I think she's doing them every 3 months, I don't know. But it's kind of fun because you just don't know what's going to come. And so anyway, so this was the yarn I got. So you get a full skein and a mini skein. So this would make actually a really pretty pair of socks, but since it came the day that I saw the Amazing Maisie shawl, I think it was meant to be that I'm supposed to knit the shawl out of this. And I think it'll be beautiful. I'm just having difficulty deciding what my contrasting color will be. So far the running's between a dark purple and a turquoise. But I'm looking at this orange. I really like this orange. So I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, I have to finish this sweater before I start this. And I probably should knit this sweater first. First world problems, I tell you what. So that's about it for knitting. I am really trying to not have a bunch of unfinished knitting projects like I do quilting projects. But the yarn is so pretty and it keeps calling me. I went out to the Bee's Knees a few weeks ago and came home with 2 sweaters worth, and all I really went to get was a set of needles. So, that being said, on to quilting. I will stand back and let you peruse my Spiral Lone Star. So, this is a quilt, and it's designed by Jan P. Krentz, and I have her book called Lone Star Quilts and Beyond, and for some reason it popped up in my newsfeed that she was doing the Spiral Lone Star Quilt Along. Well, I got the book. I've been looking for it for a long time because I wanted to do a Spiral Lone Star. I just could not figure out how you made this happen. So, anyway, short story long, I joined the quilt along, and I have the quilt done. Just the quilt top. It's not quilted yet. But I didn't do, like in her quilt, she has paper pieced setting squares and paper pieced corners. And I don't know, I had quite a few of these fabrics, and then I thought, you know, I really want to add some color. I've got the yellow, I want to add orange and turquoise and pink, like, so I went to Poppins, came home with orange and turquoise and pink. Okay, then I went in my drawer, I had a burgundy, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty dull compared to all of these. So when I got home, I was going through my drawer looking for something else, and I found this print, which turns out to be these guys. And I thought, well, that's got turquoise and pink and purple and orange and everything in it that I like. So, okay, let's put that in there. So on we go. We're working on the star part, and I was actually struggling with the paper piecing of the the setting squares. The reason I was struggling with it was because I was trying to photocopy the pattern out of the book and enlarge it without too much fuss. And what I should have done is just ordered the pattern pack that is available on Amazon. I did check out my local quilt shops, and their suppliers were out of them. So they are available on Amazon.ca for under $30, and you get all the paper piecing bits, all the instructions, all the pictures, all the suggestions for changes, like additions and embellishments and that kind of thing. So when I do another one and I'm going to do the paper piecing, I will order the pattern pack, even though I have the book. So there you go. So anyway, I was trying to get the paper piecing to work with my kind of slapdash together method. And a customer came over, and we were looking at fabrics to make something for her. And this panel popped out of the drawer when I was pulling things out for her. And I thought, oh, that's meant to be. So I made it so the animals go running around in a circle. And they're just so cute. How could I not use them? I did initially purchase the panel to make bags out of, but I haven't gotten to that yet. And I know it's been in there for 2 years because I bought it when I was filling in at Poppins for the summer. So it was time for that to get used up. And I wanted it to be set back. I set apart from the star, and so that would shine on its own, and the secondary diamonds. So I put it on black grunge, put the paddles on black grunge, and my husband said, oh, it just looks muddy. So I flipped it over. I used the back of the black grunge, which is, you know, not an economical way to use a solid black, but I didn't have to go anywhere, and my quilt is done now. So I might still put a border on it and put a few little bits in the border. I think I need a little bit more of the black just to kind of tie it all in. And I don't think just putting on a black binding will cut it. I think I need to put a border on so that it preserves these points on the sides, and I have enough of everything. I could pretty much put stars all around the border, but I probably won't do that. So I learned a ton, and you can still go on her Facebook group, join the Facebook group, Spiral Lone Star Quilt Along, and order the pattern and just follow along her videos and do it step by step. Like, it was 7 weeks, and like people were getting them done in 3 weeks. And like, I wasn't working hard at it. I wasn't rushing to get my homework done. I was doing things in between, and I got it done still in that time frame. And now I have the confidence to get the other one out of the closet. I took a class years ago. We didn't get our handouts. I never finished it. But now I know exactly how to finish it, and the easiest way to do the Y seams, how to block your diamonds, how to do this, how to do that. Even if you don't want to go and sew this quilt, go and watch the videos on that Facebook group. You'll learn something. Honest to goodness, you will learn something. So, speaking of UFOs, years and years ago, I don't even know, probably 2014, 2013, we did a Lone Star block of the month thing. So what it was a regular Lone Star, not the spirally, but a Lone Star that just made a star. And these setting blocks were a sampler kind of series, and then there was another row of Lone Star points. And so it was called Lone Star Pizzazz, and I believe it was Atkinson's Designs. Anyway, I bought this program for Block of the Month, and I don't think I had 7 or 8 people signed up, which is fine. Everybody came, they got some fabric, we did the first month was putting the Lone Stars together, and I shared some little tips on how to get everything to match up, and now I would teach totally differently after taking the spiral Lone Star thing. And so that was the first month, and then the next month everybody came and we did a block, and I think we did 2 blocks. And then at the end of that week, I got a phone call, and they said, you know, I've got my blocks done already. Is there any way I can get the instructions for the next one sooner? And then I got another phone call, and then I got another phone call, and then I got another phone call. So I sent out an email to the group. I said, okay, the majority seems to be wanting to do this less, in less time. So why don't we get together every 2 weeks? So 2 blocks a month. And then we did that. And then the next week I got phone calls saying, oh, can I get my next block? So then we did it block of the week. And everybody really did a great job. Fun, and I think Phyllis has even done 2 or 3 of them. But I had a second set of blocks because mine was orange and purple, like a sunset. So this turned out to be a lot pinkier. But anyway, so I was doing the first set of blocks I had, the main colors were purple, and the main color was orange. And so I had this second set of blocks languishing in a Ziploc bag for a long time. And I pulled them out. And I think there's a couple that just need to be pieced together. Now you see only 6 here, but I'll explain. So there's a couple that just needed like the components to be put together. So I put them together. And at the same time, I finished this up. I took a class last February 22nd, 2020, I believe 22nd, 23rd, it was a Sunday, with Felicity Ronahan, and she taught us improv letters. So I decided I was going to make something that says Debra Quilts Lots, because that's my company name, and I quilt a lot. So I had some more blocks that were almost done, but the other components did need to be put together and then put around the blocks. So I used up what was done to complete this piece, because I know I have the instructions to put those other blocks together, but I don't know where they, well, they're in the bookcase somewhere with a lot of other quilt patterns. So anyway, my intention was to make a bag to carry quilts back and forth to Poppins. That's like my big IKEA bag that doesn't make me look like I'm somebody that lives out of my big IKEA bag. So I'm making a bag out of this, and I'm going to add one more piece of improv pieces, like they're actually leftovers and cutoffs from a Judy Niemeyer quilt. They're black and then pastel, or dark and pastel batiks, so it'll be quite pretty. So that'll be one side of my bag, and this will be the other side of my bag. And it'll just be a big bag. I will quilt it. I'll probably use a thermore, a really thin batting. And so hopefully I will have that done for a next video. And you know, I have run into somebody that says, oh my gosh, I could never use that because it's so bright and discombobulated, and so, you know, I would never expect her to ask me to make her anything. I'm good with that. And I'm not certain what is sparking me to do all these things with all these bright colors lately, but I'm loving it. It's really, 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 really making me want to sew and have fun and do some stuff. So that's awesome, because that's what I like to do. I quilt lots. I'm back. And you can probably see how much the light has changed, because I have been trying to record this little portion for probably an hour. I don't even know what time it is now. Anyway, I've got my tea, and in my flamingo mug. I got this mug from Kathy and Bernadette. They gifted it to me while I was still at the Flamingo, so I've had it for at least 7 years. And I have my tea in it every day. And today I'm having a green tea and Earl Grey blend from Teas and Weaves, and that's on Main Street in Penticton. And the weaves part of that is Oriental rugs, so it's kind of fun. So Mother's Day is coming up, so you could pop in there and get a little bag of nice loose tea and maybe a fancy lamp for your mom. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a neat place to go and look around in. So I wanted to come back and talk to you about my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page under Debra Quilts Lots, and I'm on Instagram at Debra Quilts Lots. I don't post on Instagram as much as I should, but I do post on Facebook regularly. I have an album for every month of every year for, I don't know, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years on there of customer quilts that I worked on. So every once in a while, it's kind of fun to go back and zip through those and just, you know, maybe get some inspiration. People do some amazing things, and there are such a variety of patterns and very cool color combinations that you might not think of putting together, but they work. So if you need a little inspiration, you're welcome to take a look there. The other thing we do there on a regular basis is a Monday kind of goal setting intention post. I go on Monday morning. I say, what are you planning this week? This is what I've got on my calendar, or what I think I'm going to get done. And lots of people participate, and you know, they show what they're working on. They show what they hope to accomplish. They talk about gardening. They talk about their knitting. They talk about everything. So on Friday, when we come back and do the Friday check-in, it's kind of fun to see how many people accomplished what they had set out to do, or did something different, or did nothing at all, which is fine. You don't have to accomplish what you said you were going to, but I find for me, it motivates me to move in and do a few more things. So I did not put on my intentions this week that I was going to sew together some blocks that I made 7 or 8 years ago, but I did them. Had I not though, and they had sat in the bag, Ziploc bag, for another week or two, nothing would blow up. It's okay. It's okay. One thing I did talk about was that I wanted to get a video done, and I'm pretty close to getting that done. And another thing I spoke about was self-care. I had a little incident last week that was not serious. It was kind of scary. And when I spoke to my doctor about it, I'm like, why does this happen? Like, what? This has never happened before. And he goes, well, he says, it's not a common thing, but he said, we do see it quite more often in people that don't move around very much. So that has prompted me to get out for a walk a little more often. So I guess that's all it takes. So self-care, very important. On the accountability streak, I was listening to the Quilter on Fire podcast, episode 17, I believe, and Brandy interviews Felicity and Nadia, and they are friends from the Okanagan Modern Quilt Guild, and they call themselves accountability partners. So they have this thing that they've been doing for well over a year, where they make a list of the things that they want to do that week, and then the next week they make a new list and they post it on Instagram. And it's kind of fun to follow along and see what they're doing. And I have to say, I was sitting and knitting and listening to the podcast, and halfway through, picked up my phone, put my knitting down, and I came downstairs and started sewing because they have motivated me so much. So, just so much, it's just a fun thing to do. Anyway, that's the Quilter on Fire podcast, and she interviews lots of very creative people, and all of the podcasts that I've listened to so far have been quite fun, and I've learned a few things, and yeah, so I'd encourage you to check that out. So, that being said, I think I said everything I want to say. So I'm going to go and edit this and post it. Yay! So happy making, happy knitting, happy quilting, happy doing whatever makes you happy. Get out and enjoy some sunshine, move around a little bit, and we'll talk to you soon. And the next video will have some big news. So I hope you join me then. Anyway, take care.